Well, happy Friday. Great to see you, everybody. Happy Friday night. Happy cocktail night. Happy gallery night. Are you ready to see some of the best rugs that you've ever seen in your life? Because they're coming at you. Are you also ready to see a puppet show? Because of my weird lighting in here. This is what? Chicken with, what are these things called? Little combs. And are you also ready to see the largest glasses that you have ever seen in your life? TJ Maxx, what is going on over there? I can't help it. It's the only ones I brought. I'm at my mom's house. You can probably tell things are different. Accidental Puppet Show, I think, is going to be going on all night. But luckily, I've got a great slideshow for you made up of some of the prettiest rugs that we have ever seen on Cocktail Night, Gallery Night. Happy Friday, everybody. I had a glass of wine. Okay, I had two. So at this moment, I'm drinking water out of a Coors cup. That's pretty lackluster, isn't it? But I'm so happy to see you. I've been racing around a little bit, feeling very Eastery, getting things done, making a weekend visit, right? Having a weekend at my mom's, and my sister's coming with her husband tomorrow. Kids are here ready for the Easter Bunny to arrive. I don't think they believe in the Easter Bunny anymore, but I'm not sure. So I'm keeping up the facade just in case. I mean, they can't possibly, right? They're 9 and 11. They can't possibly think, spoiler alert if the children, that there's a 10-foot bunny that's going to hop into the backyard the day after tomorrow with a basket of eggs. I don't know. We're going to keep it going. I hope I didn't spoil anything. I shouldn't have said that, right? Ryan, good to see you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Hard seltzer and punching. My largest piece yet. Had fun dyeing yarn this week. Can't wait to see the great work. Ryan, I love how every time you write to me, you sign it, your friend. Because you are my friend. And I just love that you write that every time. That is so sweet. Beautiful piece of yours in the show tonight. Very different for you. Two beautiful pieces here that I'm about to hang in the show in Hartford on Monday. I can almost not talk about it because I'm so excited. And it's very soon. So, whew. Cindy, great to see you. You woke up 4:30 this a.m. You might just crash and burn. You know what? I also woke up at 4:30. I'm not kidding. I woke up at 4:30 and I was at the studio at like 7 a.m. this morning, which is a half an hour away. Didn't brush my teeth or anything. I just thought, not going to get back to sleep because I'm thinking horrible big thoughts. Nobody else is going to wake up anytime soon. And I thought, I'll just go and work on some orders really early. And that's another one of the reasons I stopped and I'm drinking water out of a Coors football cup. I neither like Coors, drink beer, nor like football. Just went off beer completely. I don't know what it is. It's just high summer for me. That's it. I'll be back into it again in a couple of months, I hope. Bonnie, great to see you from Palm Coast, Florida. Yeah, Ryan, what are the dimensions of your piece? You usually do, the piece you put in tonight, I think is 12 by 12, right? You usually do pieces about that size, which are great for framing. Mm. Gayla, good to see you. Happy Friday. Linda H., happy Friday. Cheers, my dears, in Massachusetts. Cindy, hello all. Spring is in Rochester, Minnesota. 57 today. That is a big yahoo. It was about 55 here in Connecticut. It wasn't a warm day, though, so I wasn't feeling particularly festive. I had to force it with this pink top. But yeah, I think we're getting there. I think we're crawling out of that wintry hole and we're getting to a really festive place very soon. Susan, great to see you in Washington. Kirsten, great to see you. Cheers, my dears, in Vermont. Linda B. in New Jersey. Cheers to all. Andrea, great to see you. Evening drinking port barrel gin tonight. Oh, that sounds so nice. Beautiful piece from you in here as usual. Really beautiful. Sharon, great to see you in Vancouver, Canada. You're saying cheers to each other. I just love it. April, good evening. Great to see you. Brenda, great to see you. And I always mess it up. Dunedin, Florida. Always mess it up. I am feeling better. I'm definitely feeling better. I'm feeling much better. I was going to say it came and went, but it didn't, did it? Because I was thinking when I got here, the last two shows that I've recorded here, the last one was when I was sitting in the bed. Well, that was a sign, wasn't it? I was coming to you from the bed, and I had the computer balanced on like a hardcover book. And then I was sick for weeks, like for 3 weeks. Boom, quite sick. And before then, I did a show also from the bed, and I had COVID and I didn't know him. So I'm just, maybe I should paint a big red cross on my mother's front door here so that people know this is like the place of the plague. Just kidding. It's just unlucky, and it's been a lot of health stuff this year for everybody, hasn't it? April, good evening. Great to see you. Ryan says, been punching outside all day. Spring has sprung. Spring has sprung. Oh, what's the rest of that? Spring has sprung. The earth is. Ah, what's the rest of that saying? Spring has sprung. Help me out with that. That's going to drive me nuts. I don't want to wake up at 4:30 thinking about spring has sprung. I got to know the rest of that. Becky, good to see you. Made your first daffodil Lenten rose bouquet for this season. Oh, how fun is that? It is spring. Oh my gosh, a Lent bouquet. That is so fun. Oh man, that is so fun. Robin, cheers, my dears in Wisconsin. Great to see you. Lily, great to see you. Happy Friday. Sue's cheers in Kansas. Kara, great to see you. I have something of yours in the show. Happy Friday. Judith, great to see you in Pennsylvania. I'm so happy that you're here. You just discovered us yesterday. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, super, super welcome. Super welcome. I inspired you to get out your hooking supplies and punching supplies again. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. It'll be so much fun, won't it? And we do so many different things and so many crossovers. And oh, there's so much. There's so much. Oh, I'm so glad you're there. Welcome, welcome. April, hello. Hello, April. Happy Friday from Illinois. Kaz, happy Friday. Happy Good Friday, everybody. And happy Easter weekend as well. Priscilla, great to see you from Akron, Ohio. And Diana from Brisbane, Australia. Great to see you. Good morning. Juliet, great to see you and welcome back. Oh, Juliet, I forgot to put the picture of you on the elephant. I shouldn't have even said that because now I've ruined the surprise. Welcome back from Thailand. I hope you had a wonderful trip and we're super happy you're home. We do have to look at some of those pictures. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. Dave, great to see you. You bought your first yarn punch yesterday. So tonight you have blueberry tea cocktail with ketchup chips. Yikes. God knows what's going to happen. I don't know. It sounds delicious though. Both of those components sound delicious together. Let's see what happens. I bet it's really, really good. Sounds like fun. Sonia, great to see you from St. Francisville, Louisiana. Great to see you. Carrie, hi. Cats Gallery, hey. Ryan. Okay, so Ryan, your piece is 12 by 17, so that is like 5 inches bigger than you normally do. You are climbing up to a much larger size. That's a big jump. Good for you. Feels much larger. Yeah, I mean, it would. That is quite a bit larger, and it's a rectangle, and you're more used to doing squares, so I'm not surprised that it feels different. That's great. Joyce, great to see you in Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh, did I carry? Woohoo! I'm on a roll. Thank you, Kaz. I like it too. I got it. It's from TJ Maxx. It's just a nice, what's her name? Nanette Lepore. But it has this nice ruching on the shoulder. Sorry, guys. It's a fun top. TJ Maxx, right? They did this to me, and they're the only glasses I thought to bring. But then they did this to me, which is quite nice. They also did this to me with the egg earrings, right, for Easter. There's so many nice things there. I have to give it to them. Cass says, oh, and Ryan says, Dave, yay for the yarn punch. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you do, Dave. You're good at everything that you pick up. You are like super capable and resourceful and artistic. So I can't imagine what kind of combo is going to happen next, what the next piece is going to look like. But it's got to be on gallery night, that's for sure. Sharon, you just got your fourth COVID booster. Your arm is sore. Yeah, I bet. But it's so good to get that. So good to get that because everybody's getting sick right now. I'm just one of so many sick people, and I am much better, but it took me 3 weeks, and I'm 51, I'm not like, I don't have one foot on a banana peel and the other in the grave just yet, and I still was sick forever. It had a combo of such a hold, so it's good. It's just good to do it. Why not, right? Why not? Yeah, very sore. I know. Because if it was ore, I'd be like, oh, is it gold? I knew you meant sore. I knew you did. Andrea, planning your next truck, 30 by 30. Scared that's so big. Yeah, Andrea, you're so fast, though. It's not going to be a thing at all. And you have John to help you. Ryan. Oh, there you are. Almost forgot, but you didn't. You're right there where you're supposed to be. Good to see you, Ryan. What are you working on? Because I don't have anything from you on the show tonight. I'm not scolding you. I'm just saying what happened with the zebras. Did I miss something? Melissa, great to see you. I put your stuff in the show tonight. Great to see you. Welcome. Suze, thank you. Spring has sprung, fall has fell, summer is here, and it's hotter than usual. That is amazing. Seriously, is that what your mom said? You have got to hook that into a rug. That is fantastic. I love that. I have to take a screenshot of that. That is too funny. I'm not going to make you send it to me. I just got to take a picture of that because that is too funny. I'm not going to steal it, but you should hook it. That is at least around the border of something. That would be so fun. Absolutely love it. I never got sick, but not taking chances. No, totally agree. Why take chances, right? Joy, great to see you. Hello in Port Charlotte, Florida. I hope Courtney's doing well too. And your mom, good to see you. April, Andrea, my current project is 28 by 28. Yep. It's good to know what size projects you're working on, isn't it? That really is a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I mean, it's like also different tools, right? With the punching, it goes a lot faster. Ryan Richards can tell us that for sure, right? Because you do stuff. I mean, you are fast, and some people just work faster than others, but certainly punching is faster than hooking. So it really depends on what you're doing, or if you're doing a combo of things, right? There's so many options. I am going to be starting. You are still working on the zebras, or not working? It was a big optical illusion, right? That weird like tuning fork thing that was just, it's like a mind messing with your mind kind of a thing. It is going to be so beautiful when it's done, but it is an extraordinary example of optical art. So yeah, I would be like, I would have my eyes crossed at this point, literally stuck that way. Lily says, I don't want to jinx myself, but nurse, never got COVID, still wear a mask. Well, that's amazing, but you probably are a lot more careful than the average person because of your job. But I'm very happy to hear that. I just got it over Christmas. On Christmas, I had it, right? 2 visits ago. Crazy. My mom said naughty words, never said naughty words, unlike her daughter. Spam risk. Let's shut this off right now. I'm going to get a lot of spam risks. I say a lot of naughty words too. You probably can't imagine that because I don't say them on the air. But woo, it's a lively household for sure. Judy says that's funny, Suze. I learned winter is here and it's colder than usual, but both work. Oh, how funny! This is like a moving target of an old song. I wonder what the origin of that rhyme is. Because it's not like it's a nursery rhyme, is it? I wonder if it's from an old commercial or something like that. Interesting. Juliet says, Juliet, your project is in here. The current project you're working on is 18 by 36. I think that's like a golden rectangle. I think that's a great size, and it is looking beautiful. We are all going to enjoy it in about an hour. So funny. Connor's Computer Parts. Hello, this is Kathy. Great to see you. I have some of your stuff in here too. Great to see you. Lots of buddies logged on tonight, and I will keep an eye for more buddies. I do still have a thing with my throat, so I will be drinking a lot of water, and I swear it's water, it's not vodka, out of this course cup, just to make sure that I stay good. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Some other silly problems. Gosh, what was I just going to tell you? Well, I'm going to be hanging the show on Monday. And for those of you, oh, Melanie, you're not late. You're perfect. Good to see you and happy Friday. Just so you all know, I know I've been doing a lot of talk about hanging the show in Hartford, Connecticut, where I am, and I will be there for the opening. And if there's any way that you can get there, not this coming Sunday, obviously, because it's Easter, but the following Sunday, that is April 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Charter Oak Cultural Center. Charter Oak, that's our state tree, Cultural Center in Hartford. I will certainly be there. Pierre will be there, right? It's our show together, and I shouldn't even say that. It's your show. I only have one piece in it because I did not have time to finish even my Van Gogh. It's not even a thought. I have to just let go because otherwise I will sort of put a hair shirt on and beat myself. And it's just not going to happen. Life is too busy right now. I would have to give up like literally give up Easter morning and the Easter hunt. And then who would deliver those eggs? So it's going to be the one piece that was featured on the original ad, right? That's it for me. It's your pieces. And I will be there enjoying them, and I will be there filming it on Monday, and I will do some special extended dance mix, long night versions for Patreon members to say a huge thank you. Patreon members, I know I am overdue for getting your pattern out, and it's ready. I'm going to get on there either tonight, if I'm still alive, or tomorrow morning to get that message, the monthly message out to you with a new pattern, which I think is really, really pretty and fit well with our last chapter of Design Like, which was Design Like the Vintage Vogue cover. This coming month, make sure that you're signed up for Design Like Paul Klee. Talk about color. Talk about whimsy, right? Talk about art that lends itself really well, style-wise, to rug making. Whether you do latch hook or rhea or hooking or punch or whatever, those great, soft, abstract, colorful, summery fish and wild shapes really lend themselves to our craft. So that's going to be a great class to do. That will be coming up in about a month. And Ryan says, I think I'm going to do a full size Bal de Chaux tapestry. Woo! I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised to hear that. I think that is sort of the next thing for you, isn't it? Honestly, I do think it's the next thing for you. I think that's a great call. Um, I know you don't like a lot of attention, but I'm going to say it again. I really think that you should be like looking at a gallery to like exhibit your stuff, not to sell it, but to exhibit it so everybody can see what you're working on, because you're doing two things. You are furthering rug making, which is a tiny craft in the grand scheme of things, but you are also giving a renaissance to vintage patterns. Those are two different things. They cross over, I think, at our sweet spot. But I think anybody would like at least one, if not both of those things intensely. I think it'd be super interesting at a museum, a historical society, or a gallery, anything like that. I think it's really important work. Sharon says, to sleep, Ryan. Juliet says, bummer, I can't make opening night, but I have to be in North Carolina for a work thing. I'll find a way to get there. Yeah, I'll figure out what the hours are for the rest of the exhibit. Gail, good morning to you in Australia. There's another buddy from Australia logged on. You are both morning birds. Happy Saturday morning. Judy says, Ryan, that's a Norwegian tapestry, correct? I'll have to pull that up and we'll do a show on it or something. But I'll wait and see what you do, because I want you to lead with this. You know, I keep meaning to say also that the platform that I use for us to do our shows together, to be able to do the slideshow and not have to hold stuff up in focus like I used to, is called Streamlabs. And over the holidays, right, it's been a little while now, they introduced a new sort of facet to their program, and that is that more than one person can be live streaming at the same time. So I really do want to get, as soon as the gallery stuff is done, right? I am still working on the design like book like crazy, but I do want to get in the habit of interviewing many of you. Anybody who would like to talk to me, you know I will never put you on the spot or make things awkward for us. You know I wouldn't do that. Even if you are a super shy person, if you'd like to show some of your work or you'd like to talk during a live stream, you know I will make it super easy, friendly, and a happy experience for you. It would be a lot of fun to get to know each other that way. I think we should take advantage of that new technology and do some of that. And what I meant to say before was that for those of you that don't have something that is being hung in the in Hartford right next weekend for the Charter Oak Show, just know that with the design like book, if you kind of missed that as well, I just finished. I'm working on the very last design for that book until there's a part two. Just know that there are more books, there are more shout outs for exhibits, right? I am still looking for people to host exhibits, both of design like stuff, of Van Gogh stuff, of anything that people want to lend me to travel. There's going to be lots of stuff coming up for you. So if you missed some of this stuff, don't think, oh, it's going to be years before she does something else. It's not going to be years with me. You know, I just literally, before I logged on, I wrote to 10 historical societies within like a 3-hour radius to me, just in the last like 10 minutes, because I thought, let me make this my goal for tonight before I go live. I'm always thinking about things that we can do and traveling to other areas. So you haven't missed anything. There's lots of stuff coming up, and it's for all of us to share. So, yeah, I wish I had a picture of those tapestries or that style for the show tonight. I'll do that on Monday. I'll stick some slides in. That would be really cool. Lily says, I was trying to buy a punch needle kit, but no answer. Were you trying to buy it from me, Lily? Because there's kits online, at least at Ribbon Candy Hooking, and anything I can make into a kit, right, that costs the same as a rug hooking kit. For punch needle, if you just let me know it's punch needle, I would reverse it and do yarn instead of wool. That's never a thing. Let's go. Let's go, because we have a lot of great things to look at. Kathleen, I think you are on deck first, not to make you nervous. Melanie. Yeah, but but it's Ryan, Melanie. It is Melanie saying, wow, Ryan, that's a full room size. Yeah, but I mean, Ryan, you have done some that are like 10 foot by 8 foot, right? I know that we're talking bigger. Yeah, we're talking like a medieval castle. We're talking Hamlet, and someone is hiding behind it with a saber of some sort. We're talking that, right? But Ryan is the man to do it. Without a doubt, it is the man to do it. Oh, Lily, I didn't get any query. Just send me a Facebook. I'm overwhelmed with emails right now, and Jane's going through them for me too. But just let me know if you're looking at a specific thing, and I'll try to get back to you quickly. It is a crazy weekend for me here with hanging the show. And I am late with the Design Like book. So if you are working on it, don't worry too much about the date I gave you. I am way behind you. Do you have a pattern, Ryan? I can't wait to see the tapestry, Ryan. I love tapestries and weaving. You do, Kaz, don't you? You really do. Punch needle goals. Oh, yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. The other Ryan say, no, don't be confused. There's two Ryans on and they both punch. Okay, perfect, Lily. That's perfect. I'll have a little more sanity at that point. All right, let's see. It's not this slideshow called Baby. We'll come back to the baby thing on Wednesday. Remember, the Rug Cooking Magazine is sponsoring a series of book giveaways for us, and the one that we're currently looking at is called Baby and Beyond. I'm never going to remember the name of the author, but she is wonderful. It was a wonderful book we started looking at last Wednesday. We'll conclude this coming Wednesday, and if you don't have the book, right, if you look at last Wednesday's episode, make sure that you enter by sending an email to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com, right? The brand Ribbon Candy Hooking, just at gmail.com. And in the title line, do baby book. And then in the body of the email, tell me what your favorite childhood treat was, whether it was food or candy or flavor of ice cream or soda, what your favorite treat was as a child. And add your address so that if you're a winner, I can immediately send that information to Rug Cooking Magazine and they will get your book out. So here we go, gallery night. Let's see. I've got two gallery nights on here, but I think this is going to be the one. Oh, yeah. Kathleen, it is you, my love. Let's look at this. This is a ribbon candy hooking pattern. This is called Counting Sheep. So I did this right before the new year, and the version, I have not finished my version, big surprise, but I was hooking a different sheep, and each one was in roving. So I was hooking unspun roving. Kathleen, you took this to a new level. This is so pretty, and I do have a second photo of it. I just want to start with this one that was in progress. So Kathleen, you wrote a few more sheep, and I'll be done. I switched out one of the sheep with Dublin, our great Pyrenees, who is guarding her flock. Oh, that is so cute. Hopefully I'll be finished in time for your next gallery night. Thanks for the great pattern. Well, guess what? You absolutely were. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the same one. Oh, wait a minute. Don't tell me I put... Uh-oh, Kathleen, did I do something super stupid? I know they're in here. I know they're in here. Hang on. Now I'm really nervous. Oh my gosh, you have got to be kidding me. Okay, I might have to, Kathleen, I might have to come back. Let me see. Maybe I put them in the wrong gallery night. Hey, I know you're seeing a black screen. Hold on just a second. And let me see if I accidentally put them into the wrong. Oh my gosh, these have been in here for like 3 weeks. It is, I had the one with it over the fireplace. Hold on just a second. Bear with me while I just check to see if it slid somehow in the slideshow. It might have slid backward. I'm just scanning for your name as I check. Yeah, I think I got it. Wait a minute. Nope, wait a minute. Okay, there we go. So I do have another one from you, but I am sorry about that. So here it is, finished and framed above, on the mantle, above the stove. This is so charming. And I think I have an even closer. Yeah. So what a great piece. I mean, you really took this to the next level. This is absolutely beautiful. Again, this is one of my patterns, ribbon candy hooking. This is called Counting Sheep. And I think it's got, what has it got? 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Does it have 11? Or maybe you took one out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm so superstitious. 12. No, there are 12. I'm so superstitious about numbers. I always stop work at 11, 11. What is wrong with me? Absolutely beautifully done. I love this movement in the sky. We saw that sort of little dusting of yellow flowers, very springtime, very primitive, very pretty. What a beautiful, friendly flock. This is just what sheep do, isn't it? When you approach and they're interested and curious, they come right for you. Their little faces. Oh my gosh, they are so cute. Kathleen, this is absolutely beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. And you sent another beautiful project that you're working on. This is a bed rug. And this was from Green Mountain, I think, right? It's a bed, I think the pattern is called Antique Bed Rug. It's another beautiful pattern. It's very simple. It's like a bed rug in that it has symmetry. It has that oversized pedula flower. It is much smaller than a bed rug, I think, just by the scale that I'm looking at. But it certainly has that old time antique New England flavor, without a doubt. Kathleen, you're in New Hampshire, right? So that fits. That you would like this kind of thing too. I love the leaves, the pickle leaves. They remind me of pickles, and there is not a reference to the color. I love the colors of pickles. I love the shape. I better stop, right? But absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love the kind of warm pickle color alongside some of the very cool floral colors. And I love that giant, big, fat purple flower in the center. What a great anchor. There's a lot of other purples in other places, including the vein of the pickle leaves. I'm going to stop saying the word pickle, I promise. Pulling from that central purple flower, and it is glorious. Also, your band around the edge, right, of mixed purples, absolutely beautiful. It's a perfect mixture of all of the colors that you've used on the inside. I'm going to stretch it just for a minute, just to have one more little look. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, I really love it. I really love it. The background looks like it's solid, but it looks like you're using a lot of mottled colors. So not completely solid, one color, but really, well, maybe some of them are mixed. Really beautiful palette. What a beautiful, beautiful rug. What a beautiful pair of rugs. Absolutely gorgeous. I just want to be sure, Kathleen, I caught all those. All right. Whew, I sure scared myself with that. I thought, you've got to be kidding me right out of the gate with a snafu. Um, Absolutely love it. What a beautiful piece. I love how you did the house too, and the fence, right? The little sort of rambling fence. And the clouds, everything looks great. I absolutely love it. Oh dear. What a start, right? Kara, you sent in this beautiful piece. Wait a minute. Hold on. I have notes all over the place. Hang on one second while I find my note. You were working on this piece for your grandson, Emery, right? We can see that. I have more than one picture of this because in the meantime, you sent another one and you've done some more work on it. So this is like a stegosaurus dinosaur, and you had just in this photo started filling in around the back of the dinosaur. What a charming piece. And you got a little bit further. Um, and Emery is going to be 3 in September, right? And you said he's a COVID baby because that's when he was born, right? I just love this piece. This is so whimsical. What a lot of fun. I love the dinosaur. I love the spiral shapes in the body. I love that very prehistoric tree. That's a real Flintstoner right there, isn't it? That really abstract, heavy, very weighted bark on the bottom. And then these wild kinds of fronds, right? These huge palm or palmetto type leaves, like big, 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 wide leaves. He's going to have a meal of those. Do stegosauruses eat? No, they don't they? Because they're really stout. They must eat each other. But don't you just love the points on him? And he has like a happy smile on his face too, so he's not too scary. I also love the color blocking that you're doing in the background. Yeah, Ryan, so true, right? The grandson is going to absolutely go nuts for this. This is going to be an heirloom piece. Absolutely beautiful. But there's a lot of great color changes in this. It's super whimsical. I love the color blocking. I love the outlining in green of the name and repeating a little bit of that green in the ground. Really smart. Really, really, really smart. You're doing a lot of things here that are really smart. You're very graphically picking colors out in the bark, in the ground, in the leaves on the tree, in the spirals of the dinosaur's very sort of pimply, pucky kind of body, right? You're doing a lot of different patterning within it, but it's very subtle. What a beautiful piece. It's coming out really great, Kara. You should be super, super, super proud. This is another beautiful piece. We looked at this and I sent a message. So this was a piece that we were looking at from Rug Cooking Magazine. This was, I think, in the celebration feature part of that. This piece is by Jane Smith and it's called Regal Emergence. So we were talking about Jane in that episode of Coffee Time, and she ended up writing to me. So I said, we enjoyed your piece so much. This is just an extraordinary piece, and we got to talking to each other. And she said, here are 3 rugs that I've hooked, and each are my own design based on my photographs. So she sent some more rugs for us to look at. So I thought, let's do that now. Juliet, the spirals look like dino armor. Absolutely. A little bit of yeah. I can see Madonna like wearing a couple of spirals, if you know what I mean. They do look like armor. They are so whimsical. It softens the subject, doesn't it? Because a ferocious dinosaur is something that kids love, but it is a bit of a scary subject, and it really does soften it. Really, really whimsical. So this is one of Jane Smith's pieces. Let me see. I think I'm looking at them in the wrong order, but this is certainly one. She also sent us a boat. Um, let's see. I don't know if she gave me info on this one, but it is beautiful. Diagonal directional hooking. Now that's hard. Look at all the colors in the face and in the fur, right? It really is technically an extraordinary piece. Even the little tag hanging down, you're seeing part of that, the sweet droop of the jowls, real expression, those amber eyes really piercing, really sweet expression, the little triangle ears. But that diagonal directional hooking is so difficult. For me, it's very difficult. It gives such a great feel and it gives such great movement, but it is harder to do that, right? You have to really try to stay in line because our woven backings go top to bottom and side to side, right? You can work diagonally. You just have to be a bit more thoughtful as you go. It doesn't come intuitively. When you're hooking in a straight line, you're like a runaway train or truck, right? But when you're hooking diagonally, you really have to do look and pay attention. Hey, Candace, great to see you. So this is one of the puffins. This is also Jane Smith. So she photographed the puffin in Elliston, Newfoundland. Um, Absolutely beautiful. What a thing to be someone who also enjoys photography and thus is able to pull from their own body of work as a photographer to be able to come up with rug making compositions. That really is the best of all worlds, isn't it? Puffins are so cute. Yeah, me too, Linda. I love the diagonal hooking. I love this piece too. This looks like a mostly yarn piece, although I do see some wool strips at the edge of the sort of cliff or overhang or flat iron that he's standing on. Puffins are just one of these. Oh, thank you. Puffins are one of these funny creatures, aren't they? They're so disproportionate. They look like without the beak, it's like, oh, look at that cute little bird. And then it's like, whoa, look at that oversized beak. They are such funny creatures. They are so much fun to see as well. I remember when I used to take my tour groups to Maine, to Portland, they always hoped for puffins, right? In all of Maine. Hoping for puffins. Is there a song called, it's like wishing and hoping, but more hoping for puffins. Now, this is the boat that she's talking about. It's called the Morning Star. So this is Jane's uncle's boat, the Morning Star. Oh, the dog is Ginny. The dog was called Ginny, and a friend asked Jane to hook her. Okay, so now I have them accounted for. Oh, look at the way it says Morning Star on the bow of the boat in cursive. Isn't that super fancy? And the reflection of the boat in more exquisite directional hooking. Oh, Kathleen, thank you for sending in your work for me to show. Gosh, it's a privilege to show these things. You know that, right? It is a privilege to show all of the work that gets sent because that says to me that you trust me with your work and that together you know that we're going to look at it and we're going to pull out hopefully a bunch of positive things about everybody's work that maybe you haven't thought of yourself yet because all creative work has great merit, not just one or two things, great merit. So it is a privilege to be able to do this, honestly. It really is. Even when I'm not feeling well, I drag myself up to the computer and do my best with nights like this because it's just too much fun to pass up. So Jane Smith, thank you so much for sending 4 lovely pieces. Well, 3 lovely pieces, and then we had to look at Regal Emergence again because that's just an extraordinary piece. Melanie says Jane is a master at hooking skies. I totally agree. I agree. And this is like a bit of a stormy sky. You can tell it's bright because the reflection is very good. So there is light in the sky, but the changes, it's not like it's a sunny summer day. It's way more moody and atmospheric, isn't it? It looks like I don't know anything about boats, so don't get me wrong, but it looks to me like a fishing boat because it seems like there's lots of places to kind of perch. What do you all know about boats? I'm just curious. I feel like it has a lot of stuff on it. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like it's a boat where people are, sun tanning on the back of it with their fingernails painted. It seems like this is a working boat just because there's a lot of stuff there. Interesting, isn't it? The reflection is fabulous. It does, Andrea. It does, Sonia. It really sets it off. Fabulous job with the rigging lines. Can you zoom in so that we can see? Absolutely, Juliet. Absolute. Oops, I grabbed the wrong piece. Did it again. Oops, I did it again. All right, hang on. Um, oh yeah, yeah. See, it seems like there's some platforms. It looks like, for lack of a better word, scaffolding a little bit. I can picture people wanting to stand up there and stuff like that. Maybe stand up there to look. Must be lumpy bumpy when you're up there. I mean, it must be like ba boom, ba boom, ba boom when you're hitting waves and it's all choppy. I feel like I was standing on a ladder, like on a, something that was something that's moving. It is moving, right? It seems like it'd be terribly scary. And Ryan says, all work is valid. Art is expressive. Love seeing the variation in everyone's work. So much beauty in this community and in the world. That's so beautiful, Ryan. That's so beautiful. It's so true. It's so true. There's beauty in absolutely everything. And that reminds me of something. I'm going to see if I can remember. Something stupid happened, and I thought, well, there we go. At least there's that. Isn't it nice when you can say that something stupid happens, and then you think, well, oh, you know what it was? It was the other day I realized I hadn't put up, it must have been Friday. No, it was a Zoom class. It was a Zoom class. I realized I hadn't set up the Zoom class and that it was happening in an hour. And I had just run a live show at my studio and I was headed home. I had to be there when the bus came in. So I was headed home to run the class and I hadn't set up the Zoom class. So I pulled my car over to the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, Countryville, USA, right? Like nothing there. And I opened up the back of the trunk to get my laptop out because I thought it takes 5 minutes to set up the Zoom call. I'll do it. So I open up the computer and then it's like trying to like log itself on. And then I realized, oh, there's no internet because I'm in the middle of Nowheresville. So I shut the computer and I was about to start on like a torpor, a string of terrible words also. And I got out of the car to put the laptop back and I heard all of these loud noises in the bushes because there was woods all around me and a big stone wall. Huge loud noises. And I didn't even have time to react. And literally this far away from, within 2 feet of me, 4 deer just jumped past me and crossed the road. Thank God there were no cars coming because they don't look and wait. They don't stop and look and wait, right? Right across one after the other, like, it was incredible. It was incredible to see. And I thought, okay, that diffused that situation because I was about to explode, being that stupid and being that stressed and wasting more time. But I was obviously there because the universe had planned for me to see these beautiful animals romping out of the woods. So you get what you get and you don't get upset, right? All right, so let's come back. Oops, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Hold on one second. We're good. We are good, I swear. So let's come back to, wait a minute. Yep, Jane Smith. Kirsten, it's you. So Kirsten, you sent some really interesting pieces and great conversation pieces too. So you wrote, this is my submission for gallery night, a pattern that will soon be available. Kirsten, it is available now, right? At Ribbon Candy Hooking. From the S. Kirsten Gay collection. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Kirsten does beautiful geometrics, animals, all kinds of fun patterns. Check them out. Kirsten also hosts our Tuesday hook-ins from 10:30 to 1, 10:30 a.m. to 1 Eastern Standard Time. Imagine if we did a show at night. Sometimes I think about that. Maybe not. Well, maybe 10:30. Could be fun because we'd get people in different time zones. Could be kind of like a late night crowd, if you know what I mean. But then with people in other time zones, it might be 4 in the afternoon. And if I was on my, for example, third martini, you would think there was something wrong with me. We do have to explore that idea, though, because different time zones would be fun. So some of the colorways are inspired by Ribbon Candy Hooking's current swatches. So let's look at the same piece with different colorings, right? So Kirsten is amazing, like a wizard at, I'm going to say, the computer, right? So this piece is called Time and Space. It's the same piece that we just looked at, but these are colors from the swatch set on Ribbon Candy Hooking. This was from last June for Pride Month. This is what I called the Keith Haring swatch set. So like his colors. Remember his great, bold 1980s colors? And the June before, for Pride Month in June, I did a big rainbow set that was a larger set. Really, really fun. Kirsten, this is really beautiful in this colorway. And in this colorway, This is pink and green colors. So how much does it shift from one sort of color palette to the next? It does like a 360, doesn't it? Same thing, different colors. Isn't it fun to play? Concept colors. And this is very, very cool. It becomes even more architectural, I think, when we're looking at the absence of color. It becomes much more sort of mid-century modern. I think the tomato red with that celery green not only makes me a little bit hungry for soup, but also it's just, I feel like it's an eternal classic. I feel like it's an under-tapped classic. This is an amazing color palette. White, tomato red, the butter yellow, and this, okay, maybe I'm hungry, and the celery green. But what a cool composition, right? What a cool composition. Ryan says, I have a Keith Haring tattoo on my finger. Oh, how cool is that? I really, is it one of his little people, one of his little energized people? This is the drawing for that piece and that colorway. So you wonder how these things begin? Well, this is how this begins. This is how Kirsten works. Kirsten, you often work with like post-it notes, right? I don't think this is one of these examples, but you often work very, very small. And I think working small is a great thing because for a lot of us as rug makers, we are working with simple lines and you don't want too much fussiness. It depends on what style you're working in. If you are a great realist, then you do want lots of fussiness. But I'm more of a primitive and graphic worker myself, and I really like things to be simple. And one of the ways to force myself not to overwork a design is to do it on something tiny like a post-it note or something that size. Because how many Sharpie lines can you make at that size? And you know when you blow it up, right? However you handle it in terms of what your style of hooking is and what you like, you know it's going to be gorgeous. You know it's going to be gorgeous. And it's hard to be simple is hard, right? If people have always said that, artists have always said that. No matter what kind of art you do, simple is hard, right? That's why people who write for Hallmark really are great writers because to put things, I don't mean the movies, I mean the cards, also the movies. To put a few words down, a few of anything down, and have them move somebody or be effective, that's way harder. If you can do a Shakespeare sonnet and you've got kind of infinite verses, you get more chances to say the thing that you want to say 20 different ways. But simple is hard. So, Kirsten, these are just really, really fun. And so much fun looking, again, at the same thing but with different colors. This is one of my favorite things to explore. Oh, did I show? I think I showed that one. Hang on. Let me go to the next one. Sorry. Oh yeah, inspired by Mondrian colors. So the famous Dutch painter Piet Mondrian, primitives and black and white. I'm sorry, primaries and black and white. Really striking, really striking. Oh, and this is one of my color packs, the Crazy Eights, the Maple Leaf Riot. Yeah, those were all kinds of oranges, and there's some nice plums and purples in there too. Really carnation pink, a little bit of a coppery brown. Very, very interesting. Oh, this is the swatch set. Okay, so that makes sense. So you were working off this swatch set. That is fun. Oh, that is super fun. I have to say, I love that swatch set. This is another one that I did, right? I forget which one. What did I call this one? Something, it's green. I'm trying to think of what I would have said. You know, I'm always trying to be corny, and it's, yeah, usually comes easy to me. Yeah, I forgot. But I have to say, I quite love it. I quite love it. Kirsten, absolutely beautiful. Make sure you look at Kirsten's designs on ribbon candy hooking. Honestly, if you haven't seen them, you're going to be surprised at the variety and how lovely and inviting they all are. These are great pieces to hook. Also for beginners, right? Definitely for beginners. April says, love that Mondrian. The colors, all great though. Juliet says, my current project has a lot of detail in the design. I'm going to have to go out of the box on technique to preserve the details. My usual hodgepodge yarn hooking won't work for some spots. Well, I also know we're going to come up to that in a minute, Juliet, but you also said that you were thinking about doing some embroidery techniques. And let's do that when we get there. But I thought the same thing. And I thought, you know what? She hits it out of the park every time. I wouldn't trust myself to do it, but I trust you to do that design. It does have a lot of fine lines, but I know that you are the right person to figure out how to solve those problems, right? They're not really problems. It's just things you need to figure. When you have a busy design, you just decide how you're going to handle it. You have lots of options. And if you can't think of any because you hit some kind of weird road bump, just come to us and send us your project and we'll talk about it. We'll talk it through together on a Friday night, right? That's always easily done. Or show up for Kirsten's hook-in on a Tuesday and get live in-person help, from a group of people. So yeah, you will do it. There's no doubt about that. Kirsten says, bed knobs and broomsticks. Thank you. Absolutely, bed knobs and broomsticks. Robin says, awesome job, Kirsten. No fair. I can't get material like that in the UK. Andrea, you are doing just fine with what you've got. You do such a noble job with everything that you touch. I know it is frustrating, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. You're hitting it out of the park every time. Pam. Pam was one of our winners of the first book, right? That's what was the storybook, right? Pam and Karen were the winners of that first book. So Pam sent beautiful email in this beautiful piece, and she wrote, "Hi Deanna, my name is Pam. I'm 71 years old and recently purchased a Chetty Camp frame and restarted rug hooking after taking a break of several years, about 6 years. If it's possible, I'm loving rug hooking even more now than I did back then. The Chetty Camp has made a difference in my work as well. As a watercolor artist, I've also continued designing my own mats and rugs as I did before. I'll be using a lot of my paintings as inspiration for rugs and mats. The first I've designed are 6 small 6x6 mats that I'm calling memory mats. I think this has got to be one of those. Places, things, ideas that are special to me. This is the first mat that I designed, and it's called Liberty to Pickens. It depicts a view of the Blue Ridge Mountains from where I live in Liberty, South Carolina, going toward Pickens, South Carolina, the next town over at the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. How beautiful. The scenery changes all the time, of course, with the seasons, but my favorite is on a nice summer day. The mountains are beautiful shades of blue and purple, and the greens are stunning with just a little hint of orange where the Dutch lilies are blooming, or ditch lilies. Maybe I just auto-corrected that with my mouth. It might be ditch lilies. I never get tired of seeing that view. I enjoy your videos and Facebook group very much. Well, I enjoy you very much, Pam. So this is one of the 6x6, the first in the series. Is ditch lilies right? Tell me. I know there are a lot of gardeners out there. Absolutely beautiful. I have not been to the Blue Ridge Mountains. I'm ashamed to say. It does look like a watercolor robin. Just like we were saying with photography, what a great leg up to already be an artist in a different sort of discipline and to be able to cross over this way, right? So, yeah, really, really cool. So how could I resist? I had to say to Pam, can you send us some pictures of your paintings too? I want to see what your watercolors look like. Because when we look at her watercolors, we're basically looking at future compositions. And right where Kirsten does a lot of her designing on the computer and filling it in that way, Kirsten is also a phenomenal, just natural artist, like sketching artist, like with a pencil. So lots of different ways to attack a composition, isn't there? It does look like a watercolor. And Ryan said, love the idea of memory mats. Beautiful work and wonderful concept. I do too, Ryan. And I have to say, I love how she said, reminded her of people, of places, of ideas. Because sometimes when we think of a composition, I think we are thinking of pinning something down like a still life, like a butterfly, pinning it down. And it's like, okay, particularly when you don't feel like doing it, right? It's all the harder. But sometimes you sit down and you're thinking, okay, what should I hook? Who should I hook? What scene should I hook? Come on, brain, think of something to do. And sometimes we forget that huge category of possibility, ideas, the abstract. Sometimes we're always thinking of the thing. What about the abstract? I was reading that children's book again the other day when I was in Massachusetts, Attic of the Wind. I posted it ages ago in our, if you search for Attic of the Wind, I did a naughty post and I put the whole text of it in there. What is wrong with me? It is the most beautiful children's book I've ever read. And in fact, I read it at Teddy's school when I went a couple weeks ago. Read the whole book, and they're older kids and they loved it. But in this book, the idea is that there is an attic to the wind. And that's where all of these beautiful things go. I'm not going to choke myself up, I swear. But like lost Valentine's postcards, right, that flew out of the postman's bag, broken umbrellas, kites from all different countries, all kinds of things find their way to the attic of the wind. Flowers, balloons from band concerts, like, it goes through all the different seasons and talks about all the things that could get accidentally taken up by the wind. And some of the things are abstract. One of them said like all kinds of hats that flew up to the attic in the wind, and it said like um, hats for, I don't know, hats for Easter, hats for riding, hats for thinking and deciding. And that line just really got me because I thought, ooh, that is so evocative, isn't it? It just makes you think. It's so abstract, thinking about wearing a specific hat for deciding, but it's just the idea of being at a crossroads with a decision to make, um, and just kind of assigning a hat to it, right? It's just an interesting idea, and it just goes to show that sometimes abstract ideas are things that you can give a shape to, and that's a fun thing composition wise to think about too, right? So let's come back because I did ask Pam to send some examples of her watercolors, which are, well, you'll see, beautiful. I think actually this is not a watercolor. I think this is a pastel. She's a watercolor artist, but obviously she does a lot of things very well. And this has got to be a pastel because I think it's on like a gray-ish paper, pastel paper. Lots of great tentative but very sure lines, right? It perfectly done. I love the way that white chalk looks on a darker paper. It really is. Oh, makes me swoon, Kirsten. The clouds made you swoon. So beautiful. I'm just reading your comments. Judy says yes. The native daylilies that spread themselves along the roadside are commonly called ditch lilies. All parts are edible, though don't harvest from the roadside. No, because I guess then you're adding fumes and stuff, right, Judy? That's funny. I remember I've eaten dandelions. I think that's maybe kind of an Italian thing. I hope that's not inappropriate to say. But I know my grandfather was 100% Italian and he made dandelion salad. And it is super bitter, but I really liked it. Pam, those flowers are gorgeous. Oh, they are gorgeous. And here's another gorgeous one. This is another pastel too, for sure. For me, I mean, I've tried every form of art, every sort of technique there is. And for me, pastel is by far the hardest. By far. Nothing is even a close second. So obviously, Pam is a great, great master. And it looks like Pam is getting a lot of inspiration from her immediate surroundings. And isn't that heaven when you're living in the right place? You know you're living in the right place when you write something like this where you say, hold on one second. Oh, I missed the second part. She said, I never get tired of seeing that view, right? So liberty to Pickens, right? She's definitely living in the right place. And then she says, hello again, Deanna. Thanks so much for your kind words. Attached are a couple of paintings that have given me inspiration for rug hooking and punch needling, and I thought I would share. The Blue Ridge Mountains are always an inspiration to me, and I've painted and sold many paintings of them for clients. I always have more in me to do. This one I've included is a very small chalk pastel, one that I keep in my stash of paintings, and the other is a quick pen and ink of, that was the one right before, of pots and plants at my sister's house. I plan to make a rug using that for inspiration one of these days, much larger, of course. Let's look at that one more time, because that one's pen and ink. Okay, so that's pen and ink that she's done around the edges. Isn't that amazing? You know, this could be watercolor. This could be watercolor. It does look like it's on colored paper, but it can still be watercolor. You know, using the combination of pen and ink to at least flesh out a sketch for a rug design, using a pen and ink like Sharpie's fine tips or whatever, you know, they're not going to, the black ones are not going to bleed, but also actual pen, like ink that you can, you know, buy different nibs and dip into your ink and work that way. That's very fun too for filling in with pastel or watercolor or gouache or acrylic, right? So many options for, or you can do them on the computer like Kirsten showed us, right? With time and space. There's so many different things that you can do. Thanks for your interest and especially for your videos and the great information you get out every week for rug hookers. Well, you are so welcome. This is exactly why I do it, is for moments like this when we're together and we're looking at each other's work, right? This is an all goes around thing. Talk about all goes around, right? Look at this piece. Holy mackerel. Karen, hold on. I think I have, yep, I got text for this right here. Karen says, very new to public posting. And I'm very glad that you did post. It is hard to post when you are not new. Technology wise, it's hard. And it's just hard to put yourself out there sometimes, right? Both things are hard. I'm very glad that you did, though, Karen. I'm very glad that you did. So this is a Jane McGowan Flynn Compass Rose pattern. It was a good size at 33 by 55. I'll say that's a good size. That's enormous. I would do this size again. I started in October and had time to work on it. I tried to ombre the top, if that comes through. Absolutely, that comes through. Let's talk about that in a second. This was transferred onto linen. So this was a Jane McGowan Flynn pattern. This is the granddaughter of Pearl McGowan, and it would have been on burlap. So she transferred it, Karen transferred it onto linen, came out absolutely great. And you can see, I love a good Compass Rose pattern. This takes us right into spring, summer. Nautic Star Naples. Oh, I love Naples. I love both Naples. I love Naples, Florida. You can see at the top how it is darker because look down at the bottom, the amount of white that we're seeing. Karen, the ombre worked great. It is super whimsical. I'm going to show you another picture of this piece so you can look at it more closely. Andrea says, I love the color fading in the background. And Cindy also says, I love the water. April says, I've been sketching with a Uniball Vision fine liner. They are waterproof. So awesome to sketch with. That's a great tip, April. So April is saying the Uniball Vision fine liner. Right? That's a great, great tip. I don't have that pen, but that sounds like something I would like to experiment with. Nothing like sketching in person, right? Nothing like sketching with your hand. And then you can always transfer that to the computer if you know how to turn the computer on. Kirsten does. Me, not so much. I just wanted to bring you in for a close-up of the letters because I feel like this font is very distinctive. And Karen, I'm sure you know this because you're obviously an expert hooker, but you know, it is hard to come up with fonts, and your font is very distinctive, right? I think this is like Karen's font. And I think it's just cool when you see a font and it doesn't look like one that you've seen before and you think, oh, that is that person's font. Like they created this. It's another layer of interest in the composition that I think is really special when you come up with a font that looks distinctly like it's yours. And this beautiful golden piece on top, it's like a brass finding or something on top. Really lovely. You get to see all the directional hooking around the top. This is the top where it's much more blue before it fades down into the white. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. What a great seasonal piece too. And Ryan says, great tip. I just go in with Sharpie and sometimes it's unforgivable. So you just go in, Ryan, you go straight onto your backing fabric with the Sharpie. I love that. I love that. Can we, Ryan, you know I love you. You know I love you. So I'm going to say, can we call that like bull in the china shop style? Because why not? I mean, that's often what I do too. I can't always do that because I sell patterns, but for myself, I love to just go in. I'm just like a pig with everything. You know, I mean, when I'm not hooking something for you or something that I hope to make money with, yeah, I love to go right in like that. I feel it's very raw. I had a video once up of doing a pattern right on the backing of, I can't find it myself. So I'm thinking something happened to it. But I designed like a pumpkin. It was the original Trick or Treat tapestry. And I drew it right onto the backing and it was completely asymmetrical. It was a lumpy looking pumpkin. I have the piece, right? Because I'm almost finished hooking the piece 2 years later. But I love working in that style. I feel it's very immediate, it's very impulsive. Other people feel it's just stressful. And if that's how you feel, it's probably not your technique, right? But if you think of that and you go, ooh, I'd love to cut out the middleman and just do it, right? I trust myself because if it's not perfect, that's also great. Then maybe you should try that bull in the china shop technique too. Brian, I won't call it that. I won't call it that. I might call. I like it. It's super catchy. And Ryan says, yes, I always draw straight onto my backing with a Sharpie. Always, haha. Bull in China shop style for sure. Okay, let's call it that. I like it. That's fun. We should make up a new book, right? This has to be 2 books out now with like expressions that have evolved since we've been talking together because you all say different things than I say. I think they're all funny and they usually really fit what we're talking about and other rug hookers would get it, right? Maybe a florist wouldn't get it or like a shoemaker wouldn't get it, but we get it. And I think it'd be funny to do chapters of the different things that we sometimes talk about. Juliet says, yeah, my backings have several lines with an X on them. Juliet, you definitely do bull in the china shop too. You always do. And your pieces come out so organic, I think, as a result, right? Because you can change your mind, right? It's your hat for deciding, and you're like, I decided not to. I decided to get rid of this whole section. It's your privilege to do that, right? And your prerogative, as you should as an artist and as a maker, right? And you can always recover from rug hooking emergencies, right? Because there really is no such thing as a rug hooking emergency. You can always recover. I'll catch up on the things. So fun. So this is just a beautiful piece, Karen. I'm really glad that you posted it, and I hope you keep posting. Polly Jones, some beautiful pieces, very appropriate for this weekend, Easter weekend. Posted, I think, in our Facebook group too. So she said so these are three different mats that are egg shaped, right? So get a load of this. This is so cute. Dave, it would be fun, wouldn't it? It would be swell. It'd be funny. It'd be funny. And there is so much about this craft. There's so much about rug making that defies language because it's so much of it is not standardized that when we talk about it, sometimes I feel like we're really stretching to come up with the right words. And as a result, we're forced to make up words and to build bridges where there is no language for what we mean. But we know what we mean. That's the interesting part of it, right? This is language at its best. And luckily we are speaking English. I think English is the largest language in terms of words as far as I know. So we have the privilege that the better we are with English, right? The more chances we get of saying exactly the word that we mean. And you can be very, very fine and precise in your definition. And as a result, we are able to communicate with each other when we're talking about very fiddly and abstract things. I think that in itself is remarkable. I really do. Oh, it's so cute. All right. So, Ryan said, my grade school teacher, Mrs. Moore, always said, don't erase the mistakes. They may come in handy later. And I stick to that to this day. Oh, I love that. Ryan, maybe you should make a rug of Mrs. Moore's saying, because that really is wise. Maybe it could have like a blackboard feel to it. You know, one of those old green blackboards or something. I love that idea, actually. Never mistake, just design change, Cindy. That's a good way of putting it, too. Absolutely. Got to roll with it, man. You got to roll with it in life in every direction. So these eggs by Polly are just absolutely beautiful and perfect for us this weekend. So Polly says the first mat I hooked was an Easter egg, and each year I've hooked another egg. So she's on her third year of hooking, and thus these are her three Easter mats. So she's hooking other things too, but that number one egg that we're seeing, that's the first thing that she hooked, and it is just beautiful. And then there's year number 2 right beside it, and then year number 3. What a great collection, right? What a great collection. What a great way to challenge yourself. Like, I bet one year goes by so fast when you're doing something like this, right? You're like, where's the egg template? Because for me, I'd be like, where did I put the egg template? And then I'd spend the entire spring looking for it, right? And then by the time I found the egg template, it would be like Halloween. That's just the way that it works in my life. Hopefully not in yours. Hopefully you're a bit more streamlined. And you're doing adulting on a higher level than I am. But I think it would be such a cool challenge to set yourself to be able to do this kind of thing where you're like, every year I'm going to do one more of these. It's not going to be something unmanageable. It's not going to be a tapestry. It's going to be something small. It's going to be something festive, seasonal, right? How cool is this? Great spring project, April says. Love the eggs. Me too. Melanie says, Bob Ross used to say there are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. Happy was one of his great keywords, wasn't it? What a super positive person. He's like the Fred Rogers of the art world, wasn't he? Kathleen Marsh. Oh, these are beautiful. Now this is a story. So let me make sure I have the story handy. Hang on. Kirsten, you sent these. Okay. You said, so in our group on Facebook, which is called Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club, and I do have the later versions of this, Kirsten. I didn't drop the ball. It's just I want to start with the earlier ones. Kathleen sometimes joins the talk in person, the live hooking on Tuesdays. So Kirsten got to know Kathleen, and Kathleen has been working on some extraordinary projects. And this one is really extraordinary in my mind because this got this is like it went viral on our Facebook page, which again is Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. So Kathleen Marsh posted this image of the birds, and it was something crazy initially. Like it was over 1,000 responses within a very, very short window of time, and that can happen. I mean, we have a large group. We at like 14,000 or something. But normally it's not quite that much volume on one post. And of course, not everybody reacts to every post, of course. But it was a lot. It was a lot of interest. And then blew up even more. It started climbing even more. And when she posted this, like a newer version of it, updated with some more of the sort of puffy, blossomy stuff happening on the tree and more birds present, it went up to 1,140 likes. Which, come on, in a rug hooking community, that's a really crazy number. So, super congrats to Kathleen for making a piece that is so remarkable, so conversation worthy, and of so much interest. I think it got, Kirsten, you said something like over 100 comments, which is a lot, and 1,140 likes, and that was at the last gallery night, or even the one before. So that's just interesting because it's always interesting for me to know which posts are of the most interest, right? I'm not on the Facebook group as often as I would like to be. Some of our other buddies are on. But if you are a regular of the Facebook group as well and you would like to help us with any aspect of the company, please let us know because we're always on there trying to moderate and admin and be careful with stuff, right? But it's always interesting to know, and Kirsten brought this to my attention because I would have missed it, that this was a really big deal in our group. And I think that's really exciting. That might be, is that the same one? No, that one was actually earlier. I put those out of order. Sorry about that. Are the birds in? Yep, the birds are all in there. You know what it reminds me of? You know the gift stores that have those kinds of baskets of birds, and you squeeze them, and each one makes like its actual bird call. God, my kids love those, and you know who else loves those? Buttons the dog. Some of them don't work anymore. Now this is another beautiful piece of Kathleen's, and oh, wait a minute. Okay, hang on. So here are Kathleen's submissions for Cracked Night 1 of 2. Her first post. Yep. Sorry, I'm just rereading and making sure I caught everything. And this is Kathleen's second submission for Cocktail Night. And this was made for her friend's daughter's wedding. And you can see the happy couple in the distance. It was held on a farm with their dogs, right? Their dogs are right under the bride and groom and a couple of long hair cattle. And this was done in 2022. And as you can imagine, the happy couple have been enjoying this rug ever since. What a gift. I wonder if they stood on the rug when they took their vows, because that's a thing, isn't it? Having an actual wedding rug. This could just be to commemorate the wedding. This really does look like New England, doesn't it? With the water, the low mountains, the fall foliage. How beautiful. How beautiful. Just letting my eye wander around this image because it really is so lovely. The birds are such a cozy. Yeah, Juliet, I think that's it. The birds were such a cool collection, right? This is a beautiful piece too. I have to say I love the barn. I love the barn. I love the movement of the roof. I love the mystery, the shadowy mystery of the interior, right? Because it looks like the yarn or the wool that was used is color changing. Really cool. And you see the sort of barn door with the X on the far left. And do you see that nice sharp divide between the front of the barn, or rather the side of the barn that's facing the bride and groom, and the part that we're looking at, right? That's much darker. You see that nice sharp line. What a beautiful, crisp breakdown of a very traditional building, right? But I love seeing a barn that looks shaky bakey and unstable. This has a little bit of that old timey look, but it does have that nice sharp line. It's almost like a good sturdy building, and then there's a good sturdy pairing happening right next to it. Really beautiful. Sharon says, "Oh yeah, I used to have a loon, my favorite bird sound, next to the kookaburra. Oh, I can't. I think I can. I think I can hear the loon, but the kookaburra, I can't hear that sound at all. I'm gonna have to get the bird. Gonna have to order the bird. But yeah, those birds remind me of that because sometimes they used to display them on branches in stores and they looked like that. All these great colors and stuff. Karen, more beautiful work. This is one. Oh my gosh, I got this one this week too. I should have taken it out. I'll take it out. It's still at the studio. I've got a lot of rugs around me, all very well organized and accounted for, I promise. Beautiful Princess and the Pea scene that you designed, one of your three fairy tale designs after our designing like the fairy tale storybook design like class. So these are going into that chapter. And we saw you working on this one, and I think yes, I just wanted to show the evolution of it a little bit. You've got the character who is tiny way up on the top. wow, you have done a really good job with this character because she is tiny. I like the heart on the valance of the bed too, on the canopy part. That is really charming. Looks like velvet. That's velvet, isn't it? Ooh, and the top mattress like looks like a wild fiber. Really cool. Oh, Sharon, both birds sound like laughter. Oh, I would love that. I love it when birds make crazy sounds. Do you ever listen to the sounds that goats make with like it's crazy. It makes me laugh so hard because it sounds absolutely crazy. And then you look at their eyes and you're like, "Oh yeah, that goat is crazy." They are. It's just so fun hearing the sounds that nature can make, right? So much fun. You can see the P. Stop it. Oh my God, I see the P, Andrea. I didn't see the P before. That's the P right there? Or is the P lower down? Did I miss the P or is that it? Hang on. No, that's got to be it. Is that the P at the top there? That green thing the sort of nubby thing that's hanging out? I bet it is. I don't know if Karen's on tonight to help us. That certainly looks like a P. That's a prominent P, isn't it? That's got to be the P. Ryan, Princess P is fabulous. Love the princess's little face. So high up, always complaining. Poor little rich girl. That's it exactly. That's it. She is, because she's a princess, right? But she comes in the rain and she's not recognized as a princess. And that's the whole conceit of this story is the miserable bachelor prince who doesn't think anybody's good enough for him going to fall in love with this girl who says she's a princess when they're not even sure that she's a princess because soaking wet, she doesn't seem much like a princess. But of course, the fact that her skin is so sensitive and her body is so sensitive and fine that she's able to detect a pea under the mattresses means that she truly is a princess. There's proof. There's proof for you. Absolutely beautiful piece, Karen. All of your work is beautiful, but that is an extraordinary piece. This piece too. This is the I almost said Aztec, but it's not. Gosh, you told us the name of this design in the last episode, but this is sort of an update of what it's looking like. So I wanted to share this. Gosh, Kazakh. Is it Kazakh? Kazak. I think it's Kazakh. The princess looks fed up, Sharon. I think so. I think she's just fed up throughout. Oh, and Juliet says, I like the texture, the sheen, the peach dresses. Yeah, that the Princess and the Pea, it looks like a lot of luxurious different textiles, right? It's definitely not all wool at all. There's lots of other stuff here, lots of fancy fiber. There's definitely velvet in here. And one of the reasons I chose this fairy tale as one of the 5 to do on that night, and I will do 5 more fairy tales soon. This was a very fun night. The reason I chose this one was because it had this textile crossover, right? With all the mattresses, I was trying to think of things where there was this textile element that people could say, okay, I can really attach to this idea because we're talking about colorful textiles. Not a lot of fairy tales have that. A lot of them are very bare. So I thought this was a great one, and this is exactly what I was hoping would come out of it. Some beautiful, lush compositions, exactly like Karen's, that are really, really rich and interesting to look at with lots of different textile stuff going on. Absolutely beautiful. So then she started working on, I think, Kazakh, and worked on it some more, right? Oops, sorry, wait a minute. I'm having a technical thing. I don't know if you can see that, but we're getting right to the edge of edginess. She worked on it a bit more here, and hang on. Okay, yep, there. Wait a minute. I think there's another one. A different view, but you can see that this is a super complicated work. Um, it's pretty extraordinary. It's a lot of filigree. Look at all these color changes in it too. Karen is absolutely excellent. This is very different, right? This is very different for Karen. I think most of us have not hooked this kind of a piece. It is like a beautiful oriental carpet, but it's not truly an oriental carpet. It's of the Pearl McGowan vein. And I really love that there is a whimsical quality to it because technically and in terms of symbolism, these are all incorrect, but they do have whimsy and the designs are excellent and usually quite symmetrical. So really, really extraordinary. I'm curious to see that get finished, but whew, that's a lot of work. A lot of Pearl McGowan colors in there too, right? Like the mummy red, the turkey red. It's absolutely beautiful piece. I love it. Beautiful historic designs. Exactly, Ryan. Exactly. And Juliet said that rug is phenomenal. Loving the shapes. It takes on like an Aztec weaving. It absolutely does. Has a lot in common with a weaving. So beautiful. Now, this is April. April sent, let me make sure I've got the right paper. Um, April, where did I put your, hang on, I know I have this somewhere. Give me a minute. Take a sippy of whatever you got. Just looking at my stuff. I write my own notes, so I have nobody to blame but myself, as always. Interesting. Gosh, okay, let me see if I can wing it, April. That's me, the ding dong. April was working on this piece that is an abstract. I mean, I remember to some extent, I remember the email, so I think I can do this. So this is hold on one second. Let me just take a sip of water. I'm getting all throat problems again. This is an abstract. And you can see at the top it says red abstract. Hang on just a second. So I'm pretty sure what April said was that she loved this. I'm going to come back to this. She loved this red abstract that Dion Fitzpatrick did. And it's called Red Abstract. And I think she asked her to design something abstract for her, or maybe this is this one. Let me see if we can tell. Gosh, I'm sorry, April. No, I think she designed this for you. This is a 28 by 28, but you loved the idea of doing an abstract. You just wanted to do different colors. So absolutely, I love a good abstract like this too. I love your colors. There seems like there's a pistachio or seafoam color over on the right. That's a very cool light color. Then you've got some really warm greens that border on like gold, and then some very piney evergreen colors. That Muir green too, Muir, right? Like John Muir. Absolutely beautiful. This is coming along so well. Really, really fun. The eyes really make it. Juliet, your Chesapeake pieces have this kind of flow also, right? They are really abstract in the same very organic way. Really successful, really successful. I love this design. I love how it's coming along. There are a lot of sort of, for lack of a better word, compartments where you can populate different shapes with whatever you want. There is certainly a lot of wiggle room here. This is something that you can, if you are of the Bull in the China Shop school of designing, take out, not to minimize the work that's put into this. I don't mean that by any means, but if you have the nerve and you dare, and why not, right? Because you can always, if you don't like what you drew, you can always flip it over and try again on the other side. You got 2 chances on every piece of material. Of course, you could sketch it first, but I think it's better to just do it. Draw something like this with some simple lines and then break it down some more and see how you get going with an abstract. Particularly if you're punching, you will be amazed at how quickly a project like this will go. You're just following your own lines. Sue says, I see many forms, beautiful colors. April, love the beautiful greens. I do too. Again, this is so great for this time of year. Everything turning green again. It is a really inspiring piece. And you can see here that this is a 28 by 28 based on the piece Red Abstract, but it looks like a completely different composition. April, I love it. It is really, really lovely. Really lovely. That's a to be continued too. So we're going to be looking for the conclusion of that. Lisa Sawyer sent a beautiful email and some gorgeous pieces. Hi, Deanna. I'm a fine artist who loves fiber arts too, and I'm fairly new to rug hooking, and I'm having fun. I just finished the red rug. The design is mine. I think that one I'm going to show you in a minute. I painted a series with alcohol inks and then adapted them to rug hooking. Isn't this a great episode tonight for technique? We're hearing a lot about different people's techniques. Isn't this something you can see with your eye that this will bridge in the center, right? If you put those two together, they will join together. So it would connect that way. So it is a pair for sure. I don't see connections around the other sides, but it is a pair for sure. Sharon, I hope I do. Oh, April, you are doing justice to the pattern. I think you are even elevating the pattern to the next level. So absolutely, absolutely. So Lisa says, now this is Lisa Sawyer. I just finished my red rug. The design, okay, so the design is mine. I painted a series with alcohol inks. I'm a spinner, so I use mostly my homespun and hand-dyed wool, silk, mohair, and alpaca. I have found that hooking with yarn is easier on my hands. Great tip. I shop thrift stores for wool and silk clothing and fabrics. I like to mix them for texture. Yarns, roving, and loose um, um, locks. Couldn't tell, my paper's bent. I thought it said socks. Loose locks give wonderful texture. I have included some pictures of a couple from this series. I love how you get fine art. I love how you get fine art and encourage everybody to experiment. Thank you for all the work you do and sharing your journey with us. Oh, that is so sweet. Like a lot of people, I have no rug hooking stores here, and I don't know anyone who hooks. I'm located in North Idaho, beautiful state. Your videos are important tools to all of us. We're listening and watching you, and definitely appreciate you. Oh, thanks, Lisa. That makes me feel great. It really does make me feel great. I love this piece. And let's look at the rest of them because we know she's working with her alcohol inks. Now we were just talking about those inks. Those are the kind of inks that you do with a nib, with a pen with a nib, right? So this, it looks like this is what she was starting with and this is what she got to. So God, isn't it a coincidence that in this episode we have so many examples of different techniques? I did not plan it this way. This is just the way the universe dealt tonight. Absolutely perfect. I just love this. You know, these inks have such great flow, like watercolor, right? They are different. They almost look more like stain than paint, the inks, and I guess that's not surprising because they are more like stain than paint. This is just a beautiful abstract piece. And I think it's great to see that dark outline around each of these independent shapes and then to have them touching. This is one of the things that we talked about in the Design Light class this week. When you have a composition and it's a graphic composition, right? I'm not talking about like the Kazakh rug, right? If it's a graphic composition, whether it is figural and you can recognize shapes in it, or abstract like Lisa's pieces. It sounded like Reese's pieces. I'm sorry, Lisa, that was weird. Um, when you touch your pieces together and they are all touching, that's a tip, right? That's like a pro tip. It is not always and not in every place, right? Because then we're talking about an all over pattern. But if most elements or all elements are touching or connected to each other, that is one of the great composition tips slash secrets, right? You are onto something when you do that. So if you're working particularly on an abstract composition and you're kind of fooling around at the early stages and thinking this is not cohesive, what is going wrong? What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? What is wrong with me? Think about closing the composition so that the motifs touch each other a little bit more. Doesn't have to be completely, but a little bit more, and see if that makes a difference because it often does. And Sue says, I'm a spinner too. Water droplets on blades of grass is what I see. Oh, that is so pretty. I like that. You're such an abstract thinker, Suze. You really are. That is really romantic too. Now I see that as well. That is really beautiful. So this is another piece that she has hooked. And to me, this has like a pomegranate feeling, but of course that's the color. I was going to say that's the low-hanging fruit. Um, it's the color I think that's making me feel that, and this is the composition for it. I'm going to turn my volume down for a quick second. I haven't done this before to blow my nose. Let's hope this works. Did you hear that? Sorry, I'm so gross. It's still the I think it's still the allergy stuff. Lisa, this is beautiful work, and not only is this beautiful work, beautiful paintings, beautiful rugs. Not only is it beautiful work, but we all appreciate you sharing your technique with us because this is manageable, I think, for everybody. Setting up compositions like this, but you can hear me now, right, April? I'd love it if I can figure that out because I might be blowing my nose, again in the future. If not tonight, another night. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody sharing as much as you share. Okay, good, thank you. Because because this is how we get to learn, and this is I bet some of you sit and write down ideas and you think, I got this, I can do this next time. And if people weren't forthcoming with their ideas, we would all be buying hundreds of books off Amazon and surfing Pinterest all day and getting nothing done because we're looking for ideas. When people are willing to share their ideas in this format, it is absolutely priceless. And Gail says, I'm a spinner as well. I love it. I love it in rugs. Gail, I mean, this is something that so many, I don't, and I would love to when things quiet down. I'm going to do like a Whistler's Mother at some point and just be sitting in a rocking chair with a bonnet on and just try to spin and have a quiet life at some point in the future. Because I love the romantic idea of being a spinner. And I imagine it is very satisfying to spin and then use your wool or your curls or locks or whatever to make the rug. I would think that would be even more satisfying. Sharon says the red reminds me of a blood sample under a microscope. Interesting. Well, now it reminds me of that too. It absolutely does. I was looking at the yellow thing and thinking of some kind of pit or something or a stem, but no, now that you say that, now it looks like a highlight more than anything. I know. Suze, I know. Blowing is one of those things. I have had, it hasn't been lately, but I've had some scathing comments about the sound of my sipping and breathing and things like that. And I let go of that stuff now. But when I first started doing the show, that stuff really made me self conscious. As you can imagine, it's, yeah. Self doubt creeping in. That's the story of my life. As you can see, Kathleen, I've got a lot of your images scattered. I think this is the one we looked at earlier. It is. Okay, good. Because I was thinking, did I screw this up? We're going to see, yes, the sheep. Okay, good. Sorry about that. It's just a problem with order. Still loving it. Kathleen, still loving it. Cindy, you saw peonies in the last one. Now that I'm thinking back to it, I'm feeling that too. See, everything is subjective, isn't it? And um, art is subjective, right? Because the way that you feel about it is different than the way I feel about it. I might feel like it changed my life, and you might feel nothing. And that's just the way it is, and it's okay that it works that way. That has to do with taste. It has to do with your hardwiring, my hardwiring, where I live, what I like to eat, what I've seen with my eyes, what I remember, and you're the same. So it's different. We have this in common, but our entire set of things that we like and things that we can identify with are completely different. Even if we have a lot in common, always different, right? So art is super subjective, but it's also very suggestive, right? You suggest something to me, and I'll go, it does look like blood. And then you say it looks like pomegranates, and I'll go, it does look like pomegranates. And then you say it looks like poppies or peonies, and I'll say it does look like. And it's not because I'm a robot or because I'm a ding dong. It's just as soon as you say it, it makes sense. And then my brain goes like Family Feud, ding, 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 top three. That I agree, right? It's the way it's the power of suggestion. It's a thing, isn't it? It's not our imagination. Tomatoes. It does look like tomatoes. It does look like tomatoes. And Sue's also said, "I see happy." You see, Bob Ross says, "Happy tomatoes ready to be made into sauce. You're making me hungry." I have a little bit of sushi left downstairs. I got mango sushi tonight. It is quite good. Let's come back over here. So, oh my word. So I had a great surprise about an hour before the show. Hang on, let me come to the right part in our slideshow. Yep. I was on our Facebook group, Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club, and I saw Melissa had probably posted these earlier in the day. And I was like, uh-oh, heart stopped, 911, completely like, whoa, whoa. Magdalena tree, right? That I always suspect to be a family tree, but sometimes it's called a lollipop tree. Like Magdalena feel, and then like the farm house building. Oh God. And then I'm looking at the animals scattered around and the color blocking in the background and the words Amazing Grace. And I'm like, wow. This piece is making me crazy. I'm in love with it. And then I saw this piece. Oh, oh God. Right. Same thing. Like I'm looking at the shapes and going, oh my God, it's Magdalena. It's I'm going to say it better than Magdalena. For me, like these speak to me more, right? Maybe it's because they're contemporary. The colors, the addition of the words, kindness, beauty, light, love, super tugging at my heartstrings. So I'm going to go back to the other one first. And so I wrote to Melissa and I said, oh, oh my God. And, you know, I'm working on this design like book, and one of the chapters is Magdalena Briner Eby. And I said, can I use your images for my Magdalena chapter? And Linda Ann just hooked the piece that I designed for the chapter, but I am looking for more examples like the artists for every chapter. So she said absolutely, and sent me two more. So I'm gonna sit on the other two because I want there to be some surprises in the second book. But she, after our design like class, designing like Magdalena, I ran that a couple of years ago. Maybe it's time to run it again. um, Melissa had watched the video and said, I got all of these great ideas from the class. And this is exactly why I run these classes, right? Yes, I need to make money to pay bills, to have a studio, to have a life, and to be able to do stuff, right? Because otherwise I would just be a mom again. But yeah, that's important in terms of practicality. But in terms of my heart and my soul and feeling satisfied and complete, this is what I need, is to feel like I put ideas out there, put things in front of you, and you use them and you do a better work of art than I did. That makes me feel, there's not even words for that, even in the English language. All those words, there's still no words for it. So I'm just so in love with this piece. I appreciate it so much, and it's a huge honor to be able to use both of these pieces in the Design Like book that I'm working on now. If you have pieces that were inspired by any of the classes that I've done, please be in touch at ribboncandyhooking at gmail.com and let me know, because I really want to use your pieces. I really want to use all of your pieces. And if you're thinking, oh, well, what if everybody sends a piece? Well, then it's going to be a long book, right? And that's the way that it's going to be. But really want to use your pieces. Like we were saying earlier, everybody's art is important and valid. These are extraordinary. These are extraordinary. So this is like taking it to the streets. So whoa, whoa, whoa. It's really going there, isn't it? Melissa, you are so welcome. Now I missed some of the thread, and thank you, Melissa. Um, Okay, so you're getting some compliments here, as you should. Tomatoes, and then Dave said, in Canada there are several farms where you can pre-select your sheep, read the bio, and then wait for the next shearing season and collect the fleece. Oh, you're kidding me! And either processed or raw grease and fleece. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Dave, if I come in the fall, is that something we can do together? Is that like the season? Can we go to the farm and do that, or is it like a year-round opportunity? Suze absolutely loves it. And April says, Melissa, this is so folky and cute. Absolutely. And I love the words. I love the words. And I love the colors. Very different. I love the background. I love everything, Melissa. I love everything. Dave says, I would love to do that. Then spin the fiber, make a sweater, or use the wool in a rug. Punch the wool, right, Dave? There's so many things that you could do, right? World is your oyster. I did that on purpose, right? And I know the word is oyster, and they're delicious, but I love that song. Sharon says, I did that once, Dave, and cleaned the fleece using the suint method. Smelled so bad, the dog gagged. Ryan says, kindness, beauty, light, and love. How I tried to live my life. So pretty. So pretty, Ryan. It is. Dave says, oh my God, Sharon, I guess there is the downside. Melissa says, thank you. And then Sue says, Sharon, that's too funny. I'm guilty of that too. Melissa says the first is Graceland after the Elvis Pres after Lisa Marie Presley. Hold on one second. Oh, that's Graceland and that's Lisa Marie out front. Oh, you're kidding. Oh, you're kidding. Oh my God, more layers of interest and meaning. The other is also reflective of the Blue Horses. Oh my God, by Mary Oliver, my favorite. Oh, I wish I had that. Okay, wait a minute. Let me see if I can pull that up. Hang on. I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. Let me see if I can pull up Blue Horses, Mary Oliver. Hold on. We're gonna do some interactive fun right here. Blue Horses poem. Let's see. Oh, no internet. Remember I put the airplane thing on so that the spammers didn't get me. Hold on one second. Blue Horses poem. Yeah, Mary Oliver. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let me see if I can pull it up in a way that I can read it. Hang on. No, wait a minute. Bear with me. It's got to be online, right? Blue Horses by Mary Oliver. Okay, I think I got it. Tell me if this is it, Melissa. Okay, so let me come to Blue Horses. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think this is it. Franz Marc's Blue Horses by Mary Oliver. I step into the painting, or the four blue horses. I'm not even surprised that I can do this. One of the horses walks toward me. His blue nose noses me lightly. I put my arm over his blue mane, not holding on, just commingling. I'm sorry. He allows me my pleasure. Franz Marc died a young man, shrapnel in his brain. I would rather die than try to explain to the blue horses what war is. They would either faint in horror or simply find it impossible to believe. I do not know how to thank you, Franz Marc. Maybe our world will grow kinder eventually. Maybe the desire to make something beautiful is the peace of God that is inside each of us. Now all four horses have come closer, are bending their faces toward me, and if they have secrets to tell, I don't expect them to speak, and they don't. If being so beautiful isn't enough, what could they possibly say? Oh my God. All right, hang on. I got to take a. What else could they say, right? What else is there? Oh, wow, that's a beautiful poem. I don't remember that one. I thought I knew all of her stuff. I didn't know that. Thank you so much for bringing that. Oh, that was so good. Oh, that's so good. Melissa, these are so beautiful. You hit it out of the park. I'm completely in love. And thank you for adding the context to both of those, because that is so special and so meaningful. Love it. Okay, I'm going to brace myself because I know what's next. So, speaking of meaningful and special, I got home last night and it was one of these pieces of stupidness where I left. I was busy. I was really busy and I was kind of jamming away because I have to hang the show and I'm working on the second book and I'm late. And the first book is just recently out the door and they just sent me everything to look at one more time. And everything is stressy and there's a million more things that I never talk about. It's all stressy. So I brought Joss to dance and she didn't want to be there. So she decided to not do dance anymore. So I thought, fine, who cares about that $400 I just spent on costumes? I'm not going to make her dance. Come on, Pinocchio, dance, right? So I'm not going to do that. So I drove home and I was almost back home and I realized I forgot the camera. And I was going away for the weekend to my mom's and I didn't know I was going to go to the studio this morning. So I drove back and got the camera and I was in a super bad mood. Oh, in the middle, Joss decided that she wanted to stop at TJ Maxx and spend $92 to make 2 Easter baskets, which she didn't mean to do it that way, but it's just the way it ended up. One for Buttons the dog and one for Pitter Pat the cat. By the time I got home, I was a little bit edgy, right, to say the least. And I had this package, and it was from Linda Ann. And I thought, oh, good. Linda Ann's Magdalena rug is here for the Design Like book. Awesome. Because I'd seen it, and I loved it, and I knew I loved it. And then the second one, I thought, well, this is her story rug. And she's been very cagey and secretive about this story rug. Well, I opened it up, and I went, that's my house. That's the house I grew up in Rhode Island. And I talk about this house a lot on this channel and on this show because it means a lot to me. And we often talk about things that are um, sad and dear and hard to talk about, right? Things that we love, things that are lost. Other people have been living in this house for the last, well, almost 40 years, and I still miss the house. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I sent a couple of crazy crying messages to her over the phone because I just couldn't believe it. I just opened it and I thought, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think this is my house, right? With the hearts coming out of the chimney. This is, I'm going to choke myself up. This is where I lived when I was in high school, when I went to elementary school, all of those years. This is the house that I lived in longer than any other place. Of course, my dad was alive when we lived here, my aunt, my grandmother, everybody who I loved, who's gone now. Whew. So, I mean, I just about fell apart. I totally fell apart. Um, I remember the guy, Bob, who put the roof on this house. Like, oh, God, it was a lot. So I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to have the rug, to have my friends, to have all of you, to have this community. Everything is so meaningful. And this rug is just like, I wrote the Facebook page, like, this is if there's a fire in the middle of the night and I'm half asleep and I'm stumbling outside, this is the thing that I take. It means so much to me. I just couldn't believe it. This is where I learned to ride my bike in this driveway. I mean, it's just, I'm going to choke myself up. This is where I had my first tent under the tree with, I moved some furniture from the house out there and hoped my mom wouldn't notice because I was going to set up my own little house under the tree. So many memories. It is so special, super special. So huge thank you to Linda Ann for sending that. That is, yeah. Whew. So I'll be hanging that on Monday with all of the great rugs that are in the show. And you'll have to forgive me if this one is my favorite because it is really special. And I get to keep it afterward, which is really special. Oh, hold on, let me get a tissue. Jill, you sent some more beautiful work this week, as you always do. This is this is so cute. I found this posted. Actually, I found this on the page. I might have poached this. I found this on the Facebook page, and I thought this was absolutely beautiful. Hold on just a second while I find. I put a note about this because I poached it. Let me see. I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing my notes. I might not have put notes. I found it on the Facebook page, and it's hard to see because I teared right up with that. Um, well, this is obviously a greyhound, and Jill Wayant did it, and she is absolutely a master. We saw Jill's work in the last gallery night, maybe the one before. Beautiful color blocked greyhound face, or whippet. It's hard to tell. Also color blocked background. Isn't it amazing, right? There's one side that's light, there's one side with dark. This breakdown of color is very masterful, but also can be done. Maybe using a computer program is the best way to kind of do this kind of breakdown, or print it out as a line drawing or a photograph, trace it, and then experiment with ink, experiment with watercolor, experiment with pastels, experiment with a computer program like paint.net, to drop in color, right? And shadows go where shadows go. Shadows go under the throat because the long snout on this dog is creating a shadow. So shadows go where shadows go. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But absolutely beautiful, really sweet, demure pose too, right? These are such elegant, beautiful dogs. Absolutely beautiful. And if you like this, you're going to love seeing it in progress, right? It's just so expertly done. And Jill is sewing her binding border to the edge of the piece. And so she will hook right to the edge and then just turn it under and sew. I don't know why I don't do this more. This is such a smart way to do it, and it's a massive time saver. As soon as I can, I'll do a video on this just in case you're not used to sewing and this isn't like intuitive. It's really, really easy, and you can all do this, and it is a major time saver. And guess who it is? Oh my gosh. This has got to be this little button on the left, right, with the ear inside out. How cute are these two? Good Lord, they are so cute. Jill, what a beautiful piece. Absolutely gorgeous. You killed it. Absolutely gorgeous. This is one that Brenda sent, and I couldn't remember if we did this on gallery night. This was so beautiful, and it was kind of a sad story for me because Brenda said that this was started by a dear friend of hers who passed away. So Brenda did the border, like she finished the border for her. So it's a Florida bunny rabbit, right? It's a Florida Easter rabbit with the palm tree overhanging it. Absolutely beautiful. So pretty, so graphic, primitive style. Love this sort of Art Deco lamb's tongue border. A bit of a Hollywood bling there, or Florida, right? Or Florida. Bit of a boulevard bling with the gold colors, almost like suns, right? Really beautiful piece. I love the red eye on the bunny too. We sometimes see that in older rugs. It usually is the signature of an older rug, getting that red eye in there. I think it's so smart. But I just think it's beautiful, the idea of finishing a piece for a friend who is not with us anymore. I think that is super, super special. And I am reading your comments. Thank you so much. I love the piece. It really is something. It really is. I'm not going to start again because I'll get going again, and I want to get through this episode because we have a few more beautiful rugs to see. Now, I don't think I showed this one yet either. Goretti sent this one in, and I thought this was really lovely. This is Goretti's first rug hooking project, and she said, not perfect, but I learned a lot, and I put my personal choices into it, and I still need to whip it. Well, I don't think that we did this one last time, so I wanted to be sure that we did it this time because it really is just absolutely gorgeous. Now, what fantastic directional hooking. Take a minute to look at the directional hooking here. The center flower, which is the main central motif, right? That is hooked around like like echo hooking around it. So doing the perimeter and then around again and again and again until you meet the edge. Usually with something like a square or any shape, you kind of shore up the edge by hooking the border. So just so it's defined, like making the edges of a puzzle. And then you do this concentric hooking like a rock hitting a pond outward from the central motif out, because you have an irregular shape in the center, and then you just keep hooking round, round, round echoes until you hit the border. Fantastic. So this is a masterpiece in and of itself. And then Goretti added the border, which is a beautiful color blocked graphic with a black outlining in it. And we're seeing this beautiful variegated or at least mottled green. No, it's plaid, isn't it? That's plaid. I'm going to stretch it up a little bit. Hang on. As I think I saw a little bit of red in the green. Yep. Do you see that? That's definitely plaid. Directional hooking. So going from the top left and reading right, we're seeing horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vert. Isn't that cool? The alternating of the directions is super, super cool. Absolutely beautiful piece. First piece, are you kidding me? I mean, this really is beautiful. I love how you outlined. I love how you outlined dark, and it's a dark piece. Those yellow colors act as the poison. They really pop the piece, but it is very moody and atmospheric. It is super, super charming, and you are on your way. You are already a master, but you are on your way to a lifetime of great projects. You did great. Congratulations on an amazing first piece. Jill had a couple interesting posts this week in our Facebook group too. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. This is the letter A that was hooked for Jill's grandson that she has turned into a pillow. And she just found a letter A. This is like kind of a medieval font, right? It's actually showed I couldn't get it to go into the slideshow for some reason. There must have been some kind of lock on the image. But what she did, as opposed to the inspired letter, hers is way more whimsical and well done than what it was inspired by. Of course, you can just use a letter and work it. And she has way worked it. Like, it's extraordinary. The background's extraordinary. The border's extraordinary. Jill, I'm dying to know the letter A for your grandson. Is it Aaron, Andrew, Alfie, Archie? I'm wondering. I'm really wondering. And if you like that, you're going to love this too. Oh, there's the grandson with Kitty, right? How cute. Look at that Kitty. Grandson is adorable. I'm just looking at Kitty's face because Kitty looks um, like Kitty's about to have like the 2 minute insane break that cats have every day, where they just do diagonal running with their tails sticking up and they're like skidding across the floor. Kitty looks like he's well on his way to that crazy 5 minutes or whatever. Absolutely adorable. And Jill also did a letter pillow for her, I'm guessing, granddaughter, who is a cat lover, a kitty lover, right? The letter R. This is another beautiful pillow. What great heirloom pieces for young kids. We also have a picture of the adorable granddaughter with sweet Kitty. Kitty times are the best, right? Kitty and puppy times are the absolute best. So look at that soft body. Oh my gosh, don't you want to just reach through and just grab that little body? It would be like a bear trap if you touched the stomach. You know, that kitty would wake up and you would have a bear trap situation. But what a cutie. What a cutie. Great pillows, Jill. You've been real busy. Absolutely beautiful. Deborah took the Design Like class this past week, designing like the vintage Vogue covers. Let me move this up a little bit. And she started working on this design. Deborah did, remember Nibbles from the last gallery night, which was formerly called The Rabbit with a Grapefruit? I received that and I'm hanging that on Monday at the show. And Deborah is on our way to another epic piece, right? So we talked in the Design Like class about movement, about women's bodies looking sometimes like Hollywood trophies. You know what I mean? These like wacky poses. So there was a few exercises that were fast exercises where I gave a woman in a pose that looked like it was a trophy and said, you know, what is she doing? What is she holding? Linda Ann made the great joke, her breath, in one of them, because the woman was like emaciatingly skinny and thin. So fun. And I think this is based on one of those very fast exercises, holding nothing, dancing. Fantastic, right? And we also talked about in that class, when we think about the vintage Vogue covers, they were fashion covers that were advertising both fashion and home wares or home goods, right? So interesting, because I made the point in that class that even if you're doing a vintage Vogue cover in that very graphic style, very recognizable style, you could do a modern interior because they were modern interiors in the 20s and 30s. It sounds like I'm saying terrier. This is a congestion problem. But you can do the interior of your house and still make it look like a vintage Vogue cover because at that time, everything that looked so cool and vintage to us was then contemporary and for sale. Kirsten, I also love the movement of the dancer. So she's already got this transferred, and this is her drawing that she's working on, that she's working off of, which I think is absolutely brilliant. This is a great drawing. I cannot wait to see how it evolves. Now, I also got a beautiful piece from Danny, and their goldfish was, sorry, goldfish. Does this look like a goldfish? It does have a little gold coming out of the bottom of it. Jellyfish, one of the most feared creatures in the ocean, at least for me and my children, because they're always there. And Danny said, I did the goldfish in pink, and pink is my least favorite color. And it also, Danny said, I'll take feedback. So if you have feedback, let it rip. But I'm going to say my feedback is this is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. And you said what I really love about this craft, because you're coming to rug hooking fresh, right? Fresh from not doing other rug crafts. And you're saying one of the things that I really love about rug hooking is that you can use like any of your stuff and just hook it in. You like that thrifty quality of it. That's my favorite thing about it too. You're also doing original art, right? That's my favorite thing too. So we are sharing our two favorite things in these two pieces that you sent. So Danny, this is absolutely amazing. I'm going to pull it up closer, but this is a great piece of modern rug hooking art. This is textile art, right? In my head, this is absolutely gallery art. Jellyfish is very abstract. Look at it's a nice long piece, very irregular piece. It has a very rough edge. I love that. I love that. Doesn't have to be all squared out. Doesn't have to be. Why should it be? So we can see some of the materials that they are using in this, and it is absolutely exquisite. The golden outlining of the top of the jellyfish almost reminds me of like a paperweight. You know how sometimes you see glass jellyfish in galleries and things like that with so many colors inside of them, like a glass paperweight. It reminds me of that. And then with the pink sort of fleshy, scary parts coming down and the tentacles on the side. And we are making this ombre jump. I'm going to pull it in even closer because I think I can see like t-shirt material. I love, I do see t-shirt material. I love this piece. I love this piece. I honestly do. I'll make it small again. I really love this piece. It has such an organic feel and flow. Oh, it looks like you pinned something to the bottom of it. Unless that just happens to be there. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful piece. I love the inky darkness to it, like the mysterious water down at the bottom, those mystery depths, right? It is so perfect. It is super artsy. Super artsy. So Danny said that they didn't like the pink color. And looking, maybe in this piece, it works. For me, it works. Has to work for you. For me, it works great. And I like the white coming down. I like the 3 tiers or shelves of blue. I really like it. I more than like it. I really love it. So I want to look at this together. If you have feedback, let it rip. My feedback is I wouldn't, honestly, I'm not just saying this to be nice. I wouldn't change a thing about it. If I saw this at a gallery, I would walk straight toward it. Honest to God, I would. I would walk straight toward it and be checking it out as close up as I could get without being, creepy. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So let's look at the second piece that Danny sent. And it's an emoji piece. So this was interesting because you wrote and said, emoji, going to be part of a set of emojis for a friend's classroom. Now, I know you are all better computer people than I am. So I'm just going to say, an emoji is like something that shows an expression or an emotion, right? Like emotion emoji. Oh, Danny, you're on there. I'm so glad. That's your needle minder. Okay, I was wondering that because I have one of a rabbit and it's like the same. The needle minders are the magnetic things, right, that you clip on so you can like stick your hook on there or the tip of your scissors. Okay, that makes sense. Um, I absolutely love that piece. I love the emoji piece. This piece is representing impatience. And this is great. So I'm seeing a character, super funky, super graphic, artsy character. Looks like you're working on burlap. I love that too. Looks like we're very careful because you're right at the edge of it and it's absolutely perfect the way it is. We're going to address the border thing in just a second. You did great. You did great. I'm just opening it up a little so I can see it a little bit better myself. I love the materials that you're using. I love the thrifty nature, the thrifty place that you're coming from. I love the variety. I love, this is going to sound weird, but I love, this is neither packed nor does it have holidays. I just love the way the loops look touching each other. Maybe that didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. They are right on top of each other, but they are not packed. It is such a nice kind of sort of symphony of loops to me. I'm looking for tails, I'm looking for color changes. I'm finding all of those things. This is really extraordinary. So I'm going to make it smaller again because this emoji is called impatience. And it looks to me like the emoji is looking at a watch, right? That's really funny. That's really funny. And this is going to be the beginning of a series. And I love this too. Robin, I love this too. I particularly love things that have to do with emojis because I have an autistic child, right? And the challenge for us has always been um, understanding emotions because it is not hardwired with most autistic kids. And it has taken us years and a lot of, I'm going to show you actually, it's quite funny. It's quite funny because there's like 100 of them right here. Remember these books? I mean, honestly, we have like every one. And they're not really emotions, but different qualities and different people. Do you remember these with the Little Mister and the Little Miss books? And I mean, it took years for Teddy to really understand that this is happy, just not so happy. Like I mean, you'd think that it would just be intuitive. It's not. It's not. It's been a lot. So it's just. I think this is a great project, and I think it's a great idea. Time is relative, Suze. Absolutely. Right. So Danny also asks with this one. Okay, two very specific questions. These are going to be great for your friend's classroom. These are going to be amazing game changers for your friend's classroom. So, oh gosh, I have so much more to do. We're going to have to spill over into next week again. God, I'm so sorry, everybody who sent stuff that I haven't gotten to yet. I have everybody's work in the show that has sent me something so far. I guess my mouth is running too much. We will do a gallery time next Friday night as well. I'm so sorry about that. But we are good. I have two questions that I want to answer because I think they're really important questions. So with this email, looking at this piece, Danny says two things. How can I improve my shading and highlights? Let's address that. These are the two questions. How can I improve my shading and highlights? And number two, what should I do around the border? Okay, so let's attack these two things and they'll be our last things for the nights. Jump in while we're together. Jump in while we're still together. Andrea, Ryan, Beverly, Juliet, I have your pieces and we will look at them next Friday. I'm so sorry. I thought we were going to get there tonight, but not quite. So, Danny, I just want to say to you, I had some ideas. So, first, addressing the shading. Okay. Addressing the shading, how can I get more sort of highlights into this piece? The first thing I want to say is okay, don't put highlights in the piece unless you want highlights in the piece. Don't put highlights in the piece because you think that things are supposed to look realistic or have highlights. If you feel like it would benefit from having more highlights, then let's talk about highlights. If you feel like I want to put highlights in because I think they're supposed to be there because it looks better, because it looks right, that's not the right reason. You are working in a really graphic style that immediately reminded me of this. These don't have highlights, right? None of these have highlights. So I'm just putting it out there because I just want to remind you that it's an option, right? Not putting highlights in is an option. But if you're going to put highlights in, let's talk about some of the things that we can do to get there really easily. I personally want you to, and maybe I'm being selfish, maintain your graphic style because you are working in the style of an artist and you have a style. So I would hate to see you wander too far away from style and become too technical because I'm afraid that you're going to lose the sort of whimsical quality of your work. right? So that's like a concern for me because I see art already. Now, if you are going to do some highlighting here, right, because you are using like a dark blue and a dark black, I think this works great the way it is. But if, for example, I was going to shade something that looked like a ball, I would be looking at something like this. This is Emily Collia's page, like website page, right? It's not like a TikTok or something, it's a page. Hey, Ryan, I'll see you next week. Have a happy weekend. Happy Easter. And the point I'm making with this, Danny, is like when you're shading one thing, right? The light is coming from one place usually, right? Or at least keep it simple to get it started. In this case, the light is coming from up high northwest. And so we get the lightest values right there where the light's hitting, and then less light, shadow, darker shadow, right? So that's the simplest way to approach something that's a ball like that character. I just put this slide up here. This is from a Twitter page that's called Smashega, Smashega art. And this is making the point that when you are shadowing something that is like a cartoon composition, there's lots of ways to do it. So there's not one. The one on the far left is kind of what you did. You haven't shadowed, right? And it still works. The second one, you can see they're putting a soft shadow, like there is a very low light on the character, and we're only getting shadow in the bottom of the round places. So there's like a nubbin on this thing's head. There's a little shadow at the bottom of the nubbin and at the bottom of the form, right? It's like a bean form down the back, right? Because the light is coming from the top forward. And under the chin, we're seeing shadow. The third example, the cell shade, that is way more graphic, right? So it's not like an ombre jump. It's super, super pronounced, and also a little bit of shadow in the eyes with the last three. So this is something you could look back on, the different ways to shadow. The last one on the far right has that graphic, very high shadow breakdown with highlights. Because you see the dit dot of white on the nubbin, on the forehead, in the eye, and under the lip. Those are high highlights. So it's going from no highlights in this exercise to high highlights. So there are a lot of different ways to do it if you want to do it. This is another slide I put into the slideshow that you could watch back on later that's just making the point. Where is light coming from? And I'm looking at a cartoon figure. Again, this is from a page called Deviant Art webpage. Where is light coming from? Depending on where light is coming from in your mind, it's going to change the shadow. I don't want to overcomplicate or overwhelm, but it will change the shadow. So for example, the character on the bottom left, we really aren't seeing a lot of shadow. We're just seeing subtle outlining. The character in the middle, two down, the sun is hitting her right in the face, and we're only getting one line of shadow on the bottom of her chin, right, where there is no sun, because it's coming from higher up. So these might be slides for anybody to look at that is thinking about attacking shadow. The reason I pulled these slides, Danny, is because I want you, again, it's not about me, it's about you, but I want you to keep the graphic quality to your art. And I don't want to show you how to shade something like an orange that's the first circle was kind of that thing. But I'd rather, if you want to do shadows and shades, to think about this kind of attack instead. And I want to come back one more time. You are super welcome. I want to come back one more time to the emoji and say, with this particular one, if I was going to do shading on this one, I would think about the T-zone. Like, this is like a makeup reference from Sephora of all places. When the sun hits you, it usually hits you on the forehead and nose because it's coming from above. So I wouldn't change this piece, but if you're doing other emojis and you do want a bit more shading, I would very simply put very subtle change on the nose, in the forehead, possibly under the lip or maybe around the lips to define the lips. This character in Patience looks like it has kind of dimples, right? You could shadow those with just a little bit of a line, but I wouldn't go too realistic because I think it's going to confuse and muddy a style that you instinctively already have. So yeah, so think about that. Think about just like putting your toe into the water. And that should be crossover info that'll help everybody. This is a very general conversation, super helpful thing to bring up. I was also thinking about your border, and your border, wait a minute, let me go back to the piece one more time. You are right at the edge with your hooking, and good for you, right? Good for you. Nothing went wrong, but you have to be careful at this point because you're fraying like really close to the edge, and you kind of need to shore up right along the edge of your piece immediately. So I thought two things that you could do. Fabric or a ribbon would be the easiest, best, and fastest way. So what I would do is take a piece of like fabric or ribbon. And for example, wait a minute, I'm going to show you the two things I'm thinking of. And this is the end of the episode for those of you who are getting tired. Ribbon, like any ribbon, there it's at the store, it's on Amazon, it's in vintage stores. You can take it off clothing that you find, or something like this, like a piece of quilt fabric in a strip. They even have jelly rolls and they're already cut in strips. And literally just hand sew it right around the edge of where your loops end. So right around your finished piece, hand sew it. Like, unless you have the kind of sewing machine that has the zipper foot, that because you don't want even like a half a centimeter away from the edge because you're right there. And it's perfect. It's perfect the way that you've done it, but you want to hand sew it stitches pretty close together so that you do two things at once. You stop the edge from fraying, you add a little bit of color, and then you can hide the edge and just turn the edges. With a ribbon, it's already done, right? You could frame it, you could put a ribbon in or more than one ribbon around the edges, put it into a frame, take the glass away, put it into a frame, like bump out the edges of it to fit a frame, or if this is a standard size and you're lucky, boom, right onto a frame. But definitely hand sew something fabric right around the edge of the stitches so it's right there. And does it matter if your stitches are even? No. Does it matter if your stitches are perfect? No. I kind of hope they're not. But choose something pretty that complements the piece, even if it's like solid, if that would work better. And then maybe do all your pieces the same. Like all of the emoji faces that you're going to do, if you're going to do ribbon, maybe choose, I mean, Joann's and Michael's has a lot of ribbon too, all different colors. Or if you like solid colors that make it pop more, just get like a yard of like poly cotton and rip it, and, keep the raw side in so it's hidden, and just rig it, just sew it by hand. Don't make it perfect because this craft is not about perfection. It's about fun, it's about expression, it's about color. These are two great questions. I'm glad you asked both of these questions. I hope that helps. If you need more help, if you need more help, write me again at Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'll write you back. So I'm happy to help with that. But you're doing great, and you're an artist. So you need to keep going. Yeah, and just keep going. No self-doubt, right? No doubt creeping in. Just keep going. So yeah, okay, good. Those were helpful. So hey, I'm gonna stop there because it's getting late, and those mango sushi rolls, those manga, I almost said because of the style of illustration. Those sushi rolls are not going to eat themselves, are they? So I better get down there. So happy Easter. Happy weekend. It was great to see everybody. Loved being with you tonight. Those of you who sent me gorgeous pieces, we are going to look at those next Friday. Remember, I'm going to be coming to you live when I hang the show in Hartford on Monday, and looking forward to that immensely. There will be extra content for Patreon members. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I will be back to you on Wednesday for a regular Coffee Time episode where we are looking at the Baby and Beyond rug hooking book that is part of a giveaway. 2 copies of that book we'll be giving away courtesy of Rug Hooking Magazine. So make sure that you have entered that contest by sending an email to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. Title line Baby Book. Inside the body of the email, your information, your mailing address if you are the winner, which probably you will be, right? And what was your favorite treat as a child growing up? Could be anything to eat or drink. Happy weekend. Happy Good Friday. Happy Easter, everybody. Let me know how it's going. Keep posting. Check out the shop. And you'll find me at the hanging. That didn't sound right either. At the rug show hanging. And in the meantime, take care. And thumbs up. Thank you. Oh, just catching up on the comments. Thank you. It was a lovely show. We had some great pieces tonight. Thank you